Hare Krishna. Um, the value of human life is um, realized by those who value time. This question does not very easily come to mind because we are engrossed in our daily, routine of working at the working at the office, carrying out our own whole household responsibilities. And in midst of all this, one would hardly wonder. And if you see, the value of human life is immense, and you know this. So the other person, if you are talking to your fellow colleague or any friend, they'll say, "What happened to you suddenly?" They'll think, they'll ask you, "Is everything okay?" So this is the way they ask the normal people. And whereas if you are in certain environment and already all are practicing this and they are always talking about that, that is a different thing. But if to a friend who you have always only been working with for the office tasks and some other hobbies or relishing some learning activities, so they'll suddenly ask you, "What happened to you? Is everything okay? Why are you speaking this today?" And they'll doubt whether you had some bad experience in the recent, time. So such things. But one who is seeking some higher reason to know his existence and to know what is curiosity of the world, what it is. Every day the person sees the sun is rising, setting, and he's doing all the things, and then sometimes he becomes, and he's pursuing excellence also in some field or the other. So it may be learning, excelling in some artwork or designing, or some people pursue such things as hobby, art and skill. They like to have some skills by, so they would want to join some courses or classes and just be busy to express their creativity, apart from the daily office work that they are busy with. And in the midst of this, then they are amused and they think, "Who is the creator? Why are we enjoying this so much? All thanks, and we are full of gratitude to the Lord who has given us all this." Such words come out from their mouth, and then this reason is enough to kick off certain higher thinking. And gradually, as time goes by, when there are certain things that make him wonder that what I would thought was something very different, and now the time is like, I better know what is the truth. I've been praying to the Lord in just a general way, just do folding hands and doing that namaskar pose to the Lord and praying all the time. Please keep me happy as I am. So far, you have given me everything, and now you please continue to shower such blessings on me all the time. So, such is the prayer that one does in a normal way. And then, after, if he is fortunate, he comes to read certain books that reveal the truth in a very higher way. Uh, and one feels like as if this is the path of enlightenment, and am I going to go ahead in this, which is so very nice, and it is looking, it looks like it is very promising to me, and this is what I had been waiting for, and etc. etc. So, in the due course, he begins to read and understand, and then he relates it to this knowledge that he had received it in the past sometimes and he forgot it, and now it has again resurfaced and made him think in a different direction, and this time in a more matured way. So then, yeah, this is the human value. The life is very precious. They say human life has a big meaning to it, and yes, it is the truth. And then he finds out that Bhagavad Gita was the thing that he had always in his house, and he also carried it, and most of the times at in certain hours of need. And now he has a book that explains it in a different light altogether, and he's amused to find the truth about it and seek light towards it. So then he starts reading Bhagavad Gita and all the scriptures, So Bhagavad Gita is so important scripture for anyone, and especially if you get it when you are young and understand it in the right sense, then that person will never fail in life, because the setbacks that come, and then the feeling of dejection. The feeling of dejection is really an injustice to oneself. You feel dejected. When do you feel dejected and depressed? Then depression is a common word. It would never existed. I remember this word depression never existed. I never heard this word depression except in the science courses. Excuse me. In the academics, this depression was the word, and that too. I think, as far as I remember, it was in geography subject. Excuse me. So in the geography subject, and then now later as we grow up, this depression term is a common among the youth and the doctors, the psychotherapists, the psychiatrists. They use this term very often. Are you depressed? Were there incidences of depression? And what is that? So, depression is when you reject something very important in your life for no reason out of ego. When you do this, then the consequences must follow. And what is that? The science terms it as a depression. So, and then what it does is, what is the nature of the every element in this material world? Attraction. And after you are attracted to certain things, then you get attached to it. So, the, this depression is also something like that. You are attracted to something in a different way, and then you are attached to it, and when it goes on increasing and increasing, it gives a feeling of such a dejection and hopelessness. And that person, if he does not address it in the right time, then he may suffer for a longer term. And when somebody notices this, his friend or in the house itself, then they can address it very instantly. But actually, this depression and rejection and all these things, hopelessness, these are so very important terms. If one understands it in the right way and instantly thinks in the right direction, he can use this to make his future for eternity. Now, eternity is a term again used very casually. People don't understand what is eternity. They just use the word because of whatever reason. It may sound very impressive, or it may sound very intellectual. So such things they use it, but they use it, and they say that they, so I'm telling that if they address it in the right sense, in the proper way, then they can, get get a certain great gifts for eternity. So depression and dejection, and when can you do this? If the person is already depressed or dejected, why would he think in a positive? Because he never thought in the positive way, and he went in the other way direction. There's only one direction that one can always go if he really wants to do. If he wants success, and if he's always going in the positive direction, as they say, don't think negative, think always positive. And this is the way this address. So if you are always thinking in the positive direction, then at that time also, and if it is strong, then at that time also, when you feel dejected or depressed, then at that time suddenly you will revert back to that thought process that, oh no, I should not be depressed, I always was a positive thinker, now what is happening to me? And when it comes to your body level, it's the most difficult to detect, because you're already fallen in that state, and it's very difficult to detect that this is a very positive situation. I'm depressed, and this is a very positive situation. Let me make the most of it. This thought hardly comes. And why does it not come? Because there you are attached to something very serious, and it becomes a great bottleneck. And in the spiritual terms, if you are a spiritual seeker, in spiritual term, it is in spiritual side, it is termed as offense. Now, if it is an offense, we always say, I never did any sin, I don't do sins. Killing anyone is a sin. Huh? Hurting anyone is a bad thing. So I never commit such sins. So This we know, but we don't know there is something beyond. And when you are a spiritual seeker, then these things come into picture. Then one would read the entire Bhagavad Gita, the other scriptures, and they find out that human life is very precious. And this thing is very hard to detect, the depression, because you are attached to something very serious. And what is that? And it becomes a big offense. In spiritual term, they say it's an offense. And offense means what? That which needs a special doctor to treat the state, the condition. So that is, it needs a special doctor. And then when we are stuck with something, some suffering in the bodily level or the emotional level, then we seek counselors and the doctors. So we want to go to the best doctor. So the best doctor is not available uh, in the state that I live in. So what do? I fly to another state. In USA, there are so many specialist doctors, and all people all over the world, they too flock over to the America for their bodily needs, the health issues, because they feel that there are better facilities with doctors in America. So then you would want to seek such a doctor. But when it is not related to the physical aspect of it, it is related to the emotional aspect of it. And emotions, what are emotions? Why do I get so many emotions, so many states, so many things that I go through? If one is intelligent enough at that moment to think that what has led me to this, why I'm so emotional, and why is it affecting me? Emotions are good. Why is it affecting to me in such a bad way? Then that time, if he happens to read Bhagavad Gita and he's in a receptive mood, then he must get a clue to the cause of all this different states that he has to, of mind, that he has to go through. And that is where, when he understands that in the Bhagavad Gita, if he reads, he can understand what is human life, what is the purpose of the human birth. Then wo- further, when he reads and understands, and then he finds references to other scriptures in the through the Bhagavad Gita, then he opens another books, and one by one he turns pages, and then he finds out that um, that this human birth is a very rare thing. After a lot of efforts and hard work, one person is gets a birth in this human body. And why is it so? Why would one become something different after he's born a human being? Why would he go into something different state after being after having led such a beautiful life of having so many friends, all the relations, all the good people around, so much success in all the fields, the skills, and then so many aspects of life to enjoy and perform and get entertained, so, and then express gratitude. So when so much is available, why would that person again go into different states, and what will be his destination? So such things. And we understand that a human body is so rare. After 8.4 million births, one gets a human body. He has to go through all this you know births per cycle, the 8.4 million species of life, and then he comes to this human body. So he understands that, and then then he understands that, and then he tries to find out a questions of queries, more answers, and in the process he comes to know that the sole purpose of the human birth is only to worship the Lord, to serve him, and go to his abode for eternity to serve him. So that he understands he is a soul, not the body. And there his journey begins. A little quest and then little interest is generated. And if he is fortunate enough, then he gets more of this understanding and the like minded people to associate, befriend and study with them together, and then go and, of course, in the world we have to join a university, all, and then get hooked there and complete the course. So is there a university for this side too? Yes, there is a university for this, and it is the biggest university. And what is that? It's a vast topic. It is about a spiritual science, And we know that what it is, that is bhakti. They say devotion, devotional service. It is a big topic to explore and study, and it needs a good amount of study. So a student, an ideal student who has all the life studied very sincerely and in a very studious way with the right approach, he will find no difficulty in approaching this topic too, which needs so much attention. It is a spiritual science, it is a science of devotional service. And when he understands that, then he tries to seek out the favorable circumstances that would lead him to a proper study and execution of the same. So one must be intelligent enough to understand this aspect of it and not lose the chance of human birth, because the human birth is very rare, it seems. And yes, it is so rare that getting a right mindset, getting people of the right mindset is more important. It is not that you will always have people of right mindset besides you. There are so many abrupt changes in their behavior, their thinking. Some are so whimsical, it's very difficult to deal with such people at times. Suddenly, all of a sudden, they'll say something and they'll execute it also. So that is very strange, and in such a way, in such a situation, the study and or the pursuit of your or goals, the study does not happen fluently, and there is interruption. And when there is interruption, then there is sure some deviation, and it might lead to even stopping that process altogether. And so one needs to be in a good company all the time. That should be the prime focus, in fact. Like, if it is not the prime focus, then you might lose a lot in the process. So keeping the prime focus is important, and you need like-minded people for the same. And there are like-minded people surely in the places around you. So if you are fortunate enough, then you can get hooked up with one of them and carry on your, the study. But otherwise, alone, doing alone is also very, very rewarding. And one must not give up because it's a passion. And if you're excelling at it and you're getting the result, then you must go on pursuing, and something good must sure happen in your life in the same field, and one must wait expecting for it. And the basic principle, if he has understood that, he always is being told what positive thinking. But what is positive thinking? Positive thinking and negative thinking, one must should not fall in the trap of this positive and negative. It is just about having the right mindset towards the problem in hand. If you have practiced this is the basic thing, having the right mindset towards the problems in hand. And